All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are really pulling back the curtain on what it takes to be a professional trader. We're going to distill years of hard-won lessons from a multi-million-dollar trader, Umar Ashraf, and lay out a real, no-nonsense playbook for you.
Okay, but let's start with a serious dose of reality, right from the source. Umar Ashraf says it himself. Trading is brutally difficult. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme. And here's the hard truth. Very, very few people who try this are actually going to make it. Most will lose money.
So you gotta ask, right? If it's that hard, what separates the tiny few who succeed from the massive crowd that fails? Well, I can tell you it's not some secret indicator or a single magic trick. No, it's a fundamental, a total difference in how they approach the whole game. Their mindset, their process, the whole shebang.
All right, let's get into it. Section 1. Why do most traders fail? See, before you can win, you have to stop losing. And most traders, well, they fail because of a handful of really big foundational flaws that they just never fix.
Okay, the number one most critical mistake is this: trading without a real edge. So what's an edge? It's basically a proven, tested method that gives you a slight advantage, a higher probability of one thing happening over another. Without that, you're not trading. You're gambling. You're just clicking buttons based on gut feelings and hope is not a strategy.
And look at this comparison. It says it all. On one side, you've got without an edge. It's random, it's emotional, you're jumping from one strategy to the next, it's pure chaos. On the other side, with an edge, it's consistent, it's backed by data, it's patient, it's rule-based. Your entire job as a trader is to get from the left side of this slide to the right. Another huge reason for failure? Unrealistic expectations. I mean, people set themselves up to fail from day one. They think it's going to be easy, that they'll be profitable in 3 months or make $100,000 in their first year. They think they have to trade every single day. All this pressure just forces you to make terrible emotional decisions.
All right, moving on to Section 2, the self-sabotage traps. This is a big one, because even if you have a decent plan, you can still blow it all by falling into these psychological traps. These are the little voices in your head, the things that make you sabotage your own success and bleed your account dry.
So trap number 1 is strategy hopping. Look, every single good strategy on the planet has losing streaks. It's just math. It's gonna happen. But the amateur trader, the second things get tough, they ditch their plan and jump to something new. And because they're always jumping, they never, ever master anything. And then you've got the 3 big psychological monsters. You know these. First, there's FOMO, the fear of missing out. That voice screaming, you're going to miss the big move, so you chase a bad entry. Then there's revenge trading, after a loss, where you get angry and try to get your money back from the market. And finally, overconfidence. You hit a few winners in a row, you feel like a genius, and you start taking stupid risks.
This next one is sneaky, but it's just as deadly. It's called confirmation bias. Basically, you get an idea for a trade, and you fall in love with it. So what do? You go looking only for information that confirms you're right, and you completely ignore all the red flags, all the warning signs telling you might be wrong. You're literally putting on blinders.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the problems, the traps, the ways people fail. So what's the solution? Let's get to the good part. Section 3, the professional trader's playbook. This is how the pros do it. This is how you treat trading like a real business, not a hobby. And it all starts here with a business plan. Seriously, you have to sit down and write this out. Step 1, what are you going to trade? Stocks? Forex? Pick one and master it. Step 2, what kind of trader are you? A scalper? Day trader? Swing trader? Step 3, how much money are you putting in? And this has to be money you can afford to lose. Step 4, super important. What's your max risk on any trade? And step 5, what are your actual strategies? What are the specific setups you're looking for? Just listen to this quote. If you want to evolve as a trader, you need to understand all your metrics. You see, pros don't guess. They track. They know their numbers. You have to, and I mean have to, journal every single trade. That's the only way you'll ever know for sure what's working, what's not, and where you're bleeding money.
Now this might be the most important concept in all of trading.
You can't control the market. You can't control whether a trade is a winner or a loser. You just can't. The only thing you have 100% absolute control over is how much you're willing to risk. That's it. And that's everything.
And this is how pros exercise that control. It's the famous 1% risk rule. Look at the table. If you have a $1,000 account, you risk $10 a trade. A $10,000 account, $100. This isn't about being timid. It's about survival. This is the rule that ensures a losing streak, which will happen, doesn't blow up your account and take you out of the game.
So, you keep your risk tiny. And then, you only look for setups where your potential reward is at least 2 times bigger than your risk. We call this 2R. Think about it. If you risk $100 to make $200, you can be wrong more often than you're right and still make money. That's how you get a real edge.
This right here is a massive mindset shift. You have to learn the difference between a good loss and a bad loss. A good loss, that's just a business expense. You followed your plan to the letter, it just didn't work out. No big deal. But a bad loss, that's when you broke your rules. You got emotional. You made a mistake. Your job isn't to avoid all losses, it's to eliminate the bad ones.
Okay, let's bring it home with Section 4, Thinking in 100 Trades. Because ultimately, long-term success isn't about beating the market. It's about conquering the most difficult opponent you will ever face. And that opponent is you.
Look at this chart. It's so telling. Your actual strategy, that's maybe 20% of the equation. Risk management, super important, but that's 30%. The biggest slice of the pie, a full 50%, is your psychology and your discipline. It's the whole ballgame. You can have the best strategy in the world, but if your head isn't right, you will lose.
And this brings us to the final and maybe the most powerful idea from Umar Ashraf. Always think about your next 100 trades. Stop obsessing over this one trade you're in right now. It doesn't matter. It's just one data point in a very long series. Your only job is to focus on executing your plan perfectly over and over again for the next 100 trades. If your process is good, the profits will eventually follow. So you have to ask yourself, are you here to gamble on one trade, or are you here to build a business that lasts?